Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Soul Healing for Empathic Entrepreneurs group. And we are here to bridge a gap between your spiritual healing practice and your business. And today I wanted to start off, this is our first practice of 2024, falling upon the new moon. So that new energy is coming in, and it is a time where we can start to notice what is coming in and prepare ourselves in order to receive. So today's called Bringing in New Energy for Your Business in 2024. And so we receive and we transmit energy through three places that you can think of. Okay, so there's many ways of looking at this, but we can look at it today as we transmit through the body and we receive through the body. We transmit through the mind and we receive through the mind and the heart. And we transmit through our energetic field and we receive and we transmit through that field. And in order for us to bring in new energy, which just means potential energy that is available to us, because sometimes we do, it's sort of like, if you're thirsty and you don't realize there's this whole ocean to drink from, and you can continue to drink from it like literally on a regular basis. Bringing in new energy is just that. It's understanding that I can constantly tune into energy which is literally infinite. There is no limit, there is no end to the amount of energy that we can receive. But we don't want to just energetically receive energy if our physical body is not grounded. It is not down-regulated or activated in a way that can receive information. We also don't want to emit, or not that we don't want to, but the new energy is going to it's going to overwhelm the systems if we don't do these things. So I talked about the body, and then the mind. If the mind has too much information, or it's giving, and it's not clearing itself, it's very hard to allow new energy to come in. Or if it does come in, it's just like overwhelming the systems. And then energetically, most of us, I don't want to generalize, but we don't realize that sometimes our energy is moving forward, it's moving back, it's moving in this present moment all over the place. And we can gather that energy. And gather that energy, the way I teach it is we gather the energy centered, and first we must anchor it down. Because if we're just all up in the ethers, when we come here on earth, we're sort of like, we kind of don't really know what actions to take, because we're such in a expansive state. And that expansive state needs a place to land. It needs a place to ground. That's why we are living, a soul is experiencing this tangible, physical 3D reality to experience it physically, mentally, emotionally, and on a timeline. So that's why 2024, yes, we can talk about, it's an infinite, vast, we're never, we don't really ever die once we leave this body, and we continue, and that's great. But while we're here, there is a timeline, right? This physical body is not immortal, it is mortal. And so your soul is here to experience, period. So we may as well, wherever we're going somewhere in 2024. So we may as well allow the new energy available to us to enter, right? And then that way, because here's the thing, you're always going to receive new energy, you're going to always receive new energy messages. And what happens if we're not in the state of readiness physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically, it's going to feel unsatisfying. I didn't make the rules, but that's just how it does. It feels that way. It feels like, I know I want to go there, but I'm like overwhelmed by too much, because empathic entrepreneurs, I say it all the time and I'll say it over and over again, we feel everything. So we might as well learn how to hone that feeling of feeling everything so it doesn't take us down. Okay, so very first thing, okay, is if we're going to choose new energy, we kind of have to choose a different pathway, a different direction. And the easiest way is through the body. And we know this, but here's the thing. We often go off into the studio or into the dojo, into our like sacred like space, and we go in the body and we do our thing or our energy work. And then we come out of it and then we're like, oh, I have to make money. I have to, there's clients. And maybe some of you don't have to make money. I don't know, but like if you're in business, right? It's like, okay, so where are those clients going to come? How are we going to market, right? And if we don't bridge our practices, that somatic practice, I called it somatic practice today, because this is your soma, and somatic practice simply means your vessel, right? If we don't bridge our the vessel that we utilize to be in the world, to create business, to serve our clients in a way that doesn't burn us out, because empaths can easily get burnt out, because especially now, there's so much charge in the collective, in our world. It can and will overwhelm the systems. So we want to choose a new, right? And that new is, okay, can I choose physically utilizing my body so it bridges my way towards where I'm going in my business? And that's really the key. And this is what I start to, working with many clients now, I start to realize this is the bridge between utilizing your greatest potential, your greatest asset, to create what it is you want in a way that serves the way you function, the way you operate. Because some people can really operate like really just from the physical, the mental part of our self, and they too will get burned out. But if us empaths only go that way, one, it's overwhelming, and two, it's not settling for our systems, and we're constantly in the state of like needing to without knowing when to create space, knowing when to stop and to pause, knowing how to create space and anchor and receive energy in the moment. Because here's the thing, it's all happening in real time, right? It's all happening now. So choose a new pattern. And the very simplest way is to start to move your body. And again, not when you only go into the studio and then, or you go on a retreat, or you do whatever you do, your ceremonies, like right now. So if you're having trouble finding clarity or gaining action, which who doesn't have that, right? The easiest pathway is one through the physical body. So the first thing we're going to do today is get out of your mind, because I know all of you have your very well-practiced practices, okay? So this is not about like, how advanced we are in our practice and whatever we do, It's about, where do I want to go right now? And how can I effectively and productively utilize that energy? So I want us just to start moving. And the easiest pathway is just to start to sway. and start to notice, how am I entering this experience? Am I entering through mostly the mind? Am I entering through like, I feel kind of tense, there's some kind of rigidity in the body? Am I entering like very energetic, where it's like, oh, I have no energy, or I have a lot of energy and I don't know what to do with it, or I'm kind of like, the energy is kind of agitated, right, or fragmented? So very first thing, step number 1, give it a body. Breathe in, breathe out, sway, and start to feel the floor massaging your feet, your heels, the edge of the feet, the toenails. We're going to keep this super simple, because that's the thing. When we're an empathic entrepreneur, we go deep. And so if we go deep, we might as well just focus on something simple and one thing at a time. The rule is, do what you're doing when you're doing it. We're swaying, guys. That's all we're doing. And we're feeling the ground. And your very ability to do this is what's going to charge in the new energy. So come with me now, because we're so used to looking at our phones and like, oh, yeah, that's interesting. Okay, swipe, right? So you got to choose something different and start in the physical body. It's not going to be, okay, let me decide later and let me think about it. That's not new energy. That's old energy. Because how do we use our brain all the time? Use our mind. That's how we use it. Constant thinking. So shift it into action, knowing, oh, okay, this movement and this action is going to create clarity for my next obvious, most profitable action in your business. Okay? We don't have to know that right now. We need to know, what do I need so that I can be fully charged with this vital energy as I move into the world. So by the end of my day or by the end of my year, I'm not like done. And some of you might be feeling that way. Maybe you feel done. Maybe you feel overwhelmed. Maybe you feel fully charged. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Start to notice, am I coming in through the mind? Am I coming in through energy? And or am I coming through the body? Start with the body, breathe in, breathe out. And just begin to feel the kind of liquidy, watery nature of your body. Start to circle the ankles, circle the knees. And here's the thing that the mind gets so tricky. It's like, oh, I know this already. But here you are right now. This is real time. And we are experiencing life in real time. So in real time, choose to bring in new energy now. Now is the time. If not now, when? This is what my teacher would say, right? So start to circle the ankles, circle the hips. And even in just this, oh, so simple, easy or simple. I don't know if it was easy because maybe some of us are going through some physical things, but this accessible if you're an able body, to start to feel the body. And I know you're so good at this, so start it, do it. Move that water in your body, move the spine, move the elbows, move the wrists, move the fingertips, breathe in, breathe out. Do it in the way that you know how. Maybe my movement is not matching yours, and that's perfectly actually what we want. We want, what is it that your body needs to just start to land inside of your vessel. We're not just moving it. Oh, what is this thing we're doing? When are we going to get there? We're moving it to land here, to land inside. You're stepping into the body. So imagine that you're stepping into the glove of your body. And it just feels so good to finally feel again. We love to feel, so we may as well allow that feeling to be juicy if we can. Or if there is some kind of pain, to nurture that, or if there's a rigidity or tension, to nurture that through movement, because that's what the body likes and needs. Breathing in, breathing out. So you start to anchor the mind in the body. So it's not just, right? It's like you're starting to anchor the mind into the feet. Massaging the feet into the ground, feeling all the toe mounds, the heels, the edge of the feet. Massaging the ankles. So imagine it's like you're massaging from the inside, massaging the knees as you move, massaging the hips, the spine. So you give it a map. You give the mind a map. The ribs, the elbows, the shoulders, the wrists, the neck. And something very, very, very simple that we're going to do is start to create a repetition, a continuous movement in your body. Maybe you have another one. Again, you guys know best, okay? I'm just sort of being here so that it can create a sacred container for you to take this opportunity. Because, you know, sometimes we have these opportunities right in front of us. Maybe we've been praying for something and we don't realize, oh, it's right there. The answer, the help I need is right here. Repetition. So here as empaths, because we are attuned, we can start to listen. How is life offering up these little answers? And sometimes we think it's going to come through the skies and, you know, have this big revelation. When sometimes it's just like this little thought, like, oh, yeah, go do that. Or like a friend just suggests, oh, why don't you go do that? You know? It's like I was having trouble with something. And the most obvious answer, my friend was like, oh, why don't you go see that person? And I'm like, oh, right. And I could have, if I was not necessarily in the body, in receiving mode, it would have just passed right over my head. And that little suggestion that she probably doesn't even realize, oh gosh, it's setting me on a new trajectory, new energy. So repeat your movement. And this is another way just to anchor the mind and bypass that thinking mind, because that's what's overwhelming our systems, is when there's just way too much information for our nervous system to handle. Because what's happening here, this is our central nervous system, and then bringing it into the body, into the wires of our body, right? And then, if we're not like receiving it, nothing will be felt other than our overwhelm. Breathing in. And then you can just start to tap. So you can use your fist to kind of, and this starts to kind of like, oh, okay, now I'm kind of really getting myself inside there and really feeling this vessel. Because if this vessel is not regulated, you can go up on it about your day, but at a certain point, you're going to reach your threshold. And maybe by the time you get to bed, you think you're so busy and you can't sleep, right? So we need to settle the systems and give ourselves this empathic journey that we're on. Give ourselves what we need. We know intellectually what we need, but do we give it to ourselves? So just be with me here. Open to something new. Breathe in. Breathe out. That's it. Okay. If you're live, hashtag live. If you're here for the replay, hashtag replay. I want to hear all your questions. Okay. Breathing in. Breathing out. So it's not what, it's how. Just do the thing, and all of a sudden you're going to feel a shift. Super simple. All right. And you start to realize everything you do is like, oh wow, you can be here for a long time. And that's when you start to learn how to be in more of a timeless space where you don't feel like time is always pushing and pulling you around in that lack or that like scarcity of like, oh my gosh, I have no time to do anything. Here's the antidote. Get into a timeless space. So anything you do after this, it's going to feel like it has much more space. Because the systems are able to receive and emit. So if you have clients, you're able to receive them and you're able to emit. You're not running on empty, which is what so many empaths do in business. We all learn. All right, so now let's just come towards the center. Your toes are pointing forward in line with the center of your thighs. Good, your knees are pointing forward. And we're just gonna do a couple of rounds of movement. And again, it kind of just clicks the mind back in the body. Clicks the mind back in the body, okay? Breathe in, palms touch. Breathe out, open your hands, shift your hips back. Breathe in, lift. Breathe out, fold. Breathe in. And this is to prepare ourselves. We're going to do some energy work, but we kind of need that focus and concentration. We need to let the body kind of settle down. And we need to clear the mind. So every time we kind of give the mind a direction, it slowly just starts to come into that place, into that state of focus and concentration. Open your hands on the legs. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Push into your feet. Breathe and feel your arms move. Touch your palms together. Bring them down. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. Breathe in. Feel your arms move. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms up and around. Palms touch, point your fingers down. Breathe in, arms up and around. Exhale, fold forward. So if you've been kind of praying to some clarity, some energy, and you fall upon this, here it is. Are you willing to receive it? Breathe your arms up and around. It's being given to you. Life is always giving you what you need. So we want to get into that receiving state. Exhale. Good. Breathe your arms up and around. Yes. And it's like that thinking forward kind of mind continues to omit. And then we're not able to receive. Breathe your arms up and around, palms together, palms touch. Bring your fingers down. Inhale, arms up and around. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Breathe your arms up and around. And again, watch your mind if it's going in the head like, oh, what is she doing? This is not how I do it. Still leading with the mind. Palms touch. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms up and around. Palms together. Bring it down, center. Point your fingers down. Here it is. You're gathering energy. You're bringing it down towards your earth. You root it down. Down through the feet. Root down. Arms, and then you expand. And then you let the energy go down to Mother Earth. You touch Mother Earth if you can. You're touching her with your feet or your hands. Exhale, you touch Mother Earth. You release the energy. Inhale, arms up and around. And then you bring it in. Okay, so these ancient practices are always alluding to how kind of life functions. We breathe in, we're in between earth and sky. Breathe your arms up and around, and we can draw in, down the center, through the body, into the ground. Breathe your arms up and around. This is our energetic field, you see? Exhale, and then we again bow down towards the earth, touch Mother Earth. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. And this is like a repetition, so it becomes this kind of concentrated focus, awareness. As you repeat, you let the body repeat in a motion, in a movement. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Good. Breathe your arms up and around, palms together. Okay, so the physical body is like this external symbol, especially with these ancient practices. Okay, and it's kind of like, I call the body the encrypted code to life. And I call the practice of so many practices, but one of the ancient practices is yoga, it's dance. It's always kind of telling you how to kind of function here on earth in your highest potential. So very first thing we want to do is what did the body show us? What did that body mantra prayer show us? We bring the energy down the center line, through the legs, down into the feet, and then you root down as deep. Hook yourself to the center core magma of the earth. Imagine that. So you're descending your energy down and you're letting Mother Earth transmute it. And then from here, very important, imagine that already transmuted energy moving up through the body, through the legs, up through the body. And then shooting up. And hooking to your oversoul. So hook yourself there, this big blanket of light, hook yourself there. And then allow that, what I call like this pillar of light or your tunnel of energy, just like allow that, imagine that light to moving through your body down into towards the center core magma of the earth, shooting back up and shooting up towards the sky. And it's like this constant transference. Here it is, you're opening up a channel here. Breathing in, breathing out. You're opening up the channel to Mother Earth, because here we are, we're living with her, and she's offering herself to us every day. She gives and gives and gives. And so we have that kind of like magnetic anchoring here on Earth. And then through the physical body, that's how we function, through the physical body. And then up to your oversoul. And your soul is always kind of like whispering, like, try that. Try that. And then like life is always like, ooh, pushing you a little bit here, and ooh, pushing you a little bit there. Even like, oh, tripping and falling on your face to like have you go a different direction. Okay? So feel that and imagine that. Anchoring down, this like pillar of light. And just maybe even if you're one of those kind of visual people, notice what color it is, what is the radiance of it, what is the texture. If you're not there, then you can even imagine just it being gold. Okay, that could be one. But again, whatever it is you feel. Okay. Now, from the center of your being, I want you to imagine like a big ball of light, and it's expanding. And it's expanding, and it's expanding out into the field. Into your energetic force field. So you have this electrical magnetic field all around you, and it's just like the width of your hand. So if you just were to kind of like swipe your hands around you, this is kind of like the field of energy. It goes below your feet, in the front and in the back of you. So this is kind of like if you do a 360, this is your field of energy. And some of us are very we don't necessarily utilize this field of energy, so like it can be very leaky and very unvibrant, even dark and brown or gray if you really kind of have been just uh, putting your energy in something that is a frequency that doesn't charge you and give you that ability to find clarity and receive and omit what life force is offering. So I want you now to imagine this energetic force field all around you. But again, it could be this golden light. Please watch when you're trying to like take this in through your mind and saying, oh, I know that, or I'm going to do that later. Like real-time practice. You know how to do this. So take your new opportunity, your new space here, just to imagine this big ball of energy that you're radiating your field. And this is what people feel. You know, when you're with somebody, you kind of feel their vibe, right? Some people are like, they pull your energy. Some people, it's like they kind of push your energy away. Some people, like, just they're all over the place and they're fragmented, right? There's a lot of different ways that your magnetic field kind of works. Some people are kind of like mind to mind. Some people are body to body. Some people are like prickly. Some people's energy is very small, right? Or it could be like just right. So it could be like moving through different directions. So we want to be aware of our own energetic field, so that we understand when we are bathing in other people's field, we get aware of what our field looks like and feels like. So that when we feel something coming in, charging us, making us feel good, opening up that joy center in our bodies, in our field, right? That the thing that makes us expansive and giggly and like wanting to engage in the world. We know that, right? And also when we understand other people's charges or feelings or fields, if they're, let's say, in more of a depressed type of state, and again, it's not a judgment, or if we're in a depressed type of state, okay? It's like I was with somebody the other day and she was helping me with something, complete stranger, and she did something that frankly pissed me off. And oh my God, I started to get so rigid. I started to get so upset. And I know she could feel it, right? And she's like trying to do another thing for me. And I'm like, okay. In that moment, I had to like take back my energy, because I'm like, you know, like, yeah, I'm upset. Oh, I don't like what you did, right? It was a mistake that she did that was like kind of going to cost me, but, right? And then I give her back her energy. So now both of us can be in the clear. We both can know what's what. Well, at least I knew, right? And then it kind of shifted. The energy kind of shifted because the higher frequency, meaning to say the one that is open to receiving and open to transmitting, is going to be the dominant. Okay? So when you're interacting with the world and somebody sort of like triggers you or kind of takes you into a spiral into your mind or into your anger, into your all normal. Okay? We're allowed to be upset, we're allowed to do, you know, have our reactions. But if it's just this, like, if I just kept on doing that, both of us would have been kind of depleted after the experience. So in that moment, I start to realize, like, I'm kind of like sending daggers, you know? We all do it, right? Or sometimes you receive it, and right? And so if we have an energetic field, these things kind of bounce off. And so I took back my energy. I'm like, okay, that's mine. I'm not going to keep on like projecting it onto her and then give her back hers. And then it ended like, in a, she was trying to extra help me, But if I sort of was continuing to like project, I'm pretty sure she would have started to feel that tension and made decisions, maybe not out of the most emotional, integrous place, And that's how powerful we are, especially as empaths, is to understand our interaction. So when I talk about new energy, we don't want to separate ourselves from the world thinking, oh, they are in that low vibration and I'm in this high vibration. It's like we're always interacting and we're constantly, no matter how much you practice, we're constantly being triggered, and people are, triggering our wounds, our core wounds, which is something that we work with in our program, right? So here it is, you're opening up this space, and you're energetically allowing your field to be very clear in this, almost like this sun or whatever, however you see it or imagine it or feel it. And then you're allowing that flow. And then maybe in this moment, there is something that's being downloaded or received, or you go about in your day, you're in your body, you're in your movement, you're anchored into the ground, you're anchored up towards your soul, you're understanding your energetic field. And then the whole infinite universe now can enter in and out, and you can receive what it is you want or not. Because sometimes once we're open, the download becomes like, because we're receiving from the infinite, right? It's like, whoa, okay, we can go in. So remember, as somebody who can channel energy, which we all can, we want to make sure that we know our own threshold, right? So we start to ask universe how we want to receive it in a way that's clear, in a way that I can receive it in easeful, graceful, like, when we're looking for answers of how to heal something or how to, do something practical in our business. It's like we begin to open up our tuning fork to the answers. And again, they are not necessarily going to come always in something so obvious. Sometimes it's very obvious. Sometimes you ask a question and it's like, boom, life is going to give you something so obvious to let you know this is it. And sometimes it's just like this, like me, when I had a passing conversation with my family, they're like, oh, how did you call that person? I'm like, oh, right. That's the answer to like my next most obvious, what I always teach our clients is, what is our next most obvious action that is most profitable energetically and financially? And we all know if we don't have our systems kind of in gear and in alignment, the moving towards the money doesn't, we can do it, but we're going to burn out. So we need to know what's going to fill us energetically. So here it is, we bring in the new energy, okay, in practice in our sacred container with our clients. What I do, we're going to go deeper into these things, but I just want you to now just at least know kind of some base things that you can do right now in your new decisions to bring in that energy, so that when you're interacting in silence with the world or in communication with the world, whether it's a glimmer or it's a trigger, you are still able to receive the answers, because in that moment of interaction with that person who was in service with me, I realized, the reason why this happened is because I needed to also do this next thing. Okay? So it comes to you in either some kind of glimmer or sometimes it's like, it really is like that, that inside, and like, and it very often happens when you're in that somatic practice, and boom, it comes. Okay, so that's important to know. When it comes there, you need to write it down, because otherwise it's just like a dream and we forget the vision. And then when it's just these, like when you're in your mundane, like you're cooking, you're cutting your vegetables, you're doing your thing, and then you just have these little thoughts, okay, that's new energy coming in. Because we can't always receive it like, oh, you know, we some people do, or maybe they have like a sacred geometry or visions or things like that. Some people do, right? But however you receive it, you want to be able to receive it. And then you take the next most obvious action. So you take an action based on what that new energy is giving you. Okay, and I know your intellectual mind says, I know all this. But it's different. I want to invite you into a new choice in this real-time moment. Because now is the time. As healers, as coaches, as empaths, now is the time. Energy is shifting at a faster speed. So we can ride that wave, or we could get like drowned by the wave of energy that's coming in. So let's, in 2024, utilize what we already know, our body, our clearing of the mind, our energy. So that's the first 4 weeks of our program. How do we utilize the practices of the somatic physical body so that we can be attuned and have that abundance of energy to kind of be in this world that is, you know, is treacherous, right? It's like there's like it's hard to do the mundane and to clean your house and to do the work, and you know, if you're here in the winter shoveling the snow, all that stuff, right? So we want to come into this, and then, you know, what we also do is we also learn how to clear the mind. Right? With our clients, we constantly need to clear the mind. Otherwise, it's just old patterning. It's like, you can't do that. There's so much of that. Oh, at the beginning of the program, it's so much of that with our clients, especially those who are kind of beginning their business and acting on their new vision. Ooh, so much of the old, like narcissistic voice that says you're not enough, you're not worthy, you don't belong, you're not capable, you're not perfect, you know, it's not enough, there's not enough time. Oh my God, that is so blah. Right? So we need to learn how to clear that. It's for everyone has that. There's no, like even the Dalai Lama, right? It's like, okay, so, but he's always clearing his mind, right? And then we need to learn how to master energy. That's week number 4, right? Week number 3 is process emotion, because we know as we move towards what we're going through, things emerge. Here's the thing that I always say, whenever we're moving towards, hello, Melissa, right? Whenever we're moving towards where we want to go, like it's right here, resistance is going to be at its greatest. So all of your SHIT is going to come up in that moment. All of the demons are going to come up in that moment. All of your kind of like patterns, physical patterns are going to come up in that moment. All of your energy, the way you use your energy is going to come up in that moment, right? And that's the great sign that, you know, ooh, you're right. It's right there. So all of this is to show you you have the opportunity to work with this, because guess what? Just because you get to it, here's the thing here's the big illusion. Just because you get to that place where you want to go, you're finally doing your thing. You're finally, you know, making the money you want to make. You're finally like, all of that stuff is still going to be with you. Big news flash, right? Your trauma, your triggers, all of that SHIT is still going to be with you. But life is giving you the opportunity to say, okay, you've been on this path. You've been on this path of healing, and you have developed these tools physically, mentally, energetically, and here's the time. Because guess what? To create a life you don't want takes work. And to create a life you do want takes work. So guess what? We're still going to do the work, right? Here's the thing, right? So this practice, this spiritual practice, is not about getting somewhere where all of a sudden that thing that we've been running away from, we can't create something by running away from it. We can't create something from, it's over there, la 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 la, right? It's like right in our face. Right? And my sister Melissa knows this. She knows this very well, right? But all of a sudden we develop and we collaborate a new relationship, where then we start to see the thing that that we have resisted our whole life because it was just too much to bear when it first happened, to now, starting to see what it is that has given us in our lifetime, right? And we start to appreciate, so many, I talk about, my relationships with my family. If I hadn't had the relationships I've had and the experiences that I had, I would not be here doing this today. Right? I would not be seeking that healing journey. I wouldn't be seeking what I knew to be true in myself. And I wouldn't be sharing it because I have gone down the depths of the depths, the darks of the darks, to rise up again over and over. And oh my God, it's a constant thing, right? Constant, right? To then be able to share it with other people. So what I'm offering you guys is this sacred container, so that you have a place to feel supported and you can do the practice. Just because I know how to weight train doesn't mean I'm going to go lift weights right now because for fun. But when I step into the gym and I have my trainer and he tells me what to do, and maybe he's like, I'll add a little bit more weight and do it this way. Right? So I'm offering you guys a sacred container here so that you have a place to feel supported and you have a place where you can take action, because this world is about, yes, being, yes, quiet, yes, silence, and it's about action, right? Again, both take work, right? And so I invite you, I am offering a 3-day free live workshop. It's called Somatic Pathway, 3 days to setting and achieving your goals. And DM me, let me know you want to be there live with me. And if also you are interested in discovering and exploring manifesting your business and manifesting your life, utilizing the tools that you already know, the acid of your body, the acid of your clarity of your mind, your ability to process emotion, and your ability to master energy, so that can be your spiritual house, to hold your business house and do it together. Because here's the thing, we don't heal alone. Yes, we have our own practices. Yes, we have our own mastery, but we need community, right? I have my own community. I have my own teachers. And so what I'm offering you guys is, one, let me know you want to come to the 3-day live. And two, if you want to get on what I call a breakthrough yoga coaching call. And on that call, we're going to literally start the work and look at where are we stuck physically, mentally, energetically, and start to shift and transform that, so that it can be like the domino effect that will help you move forward in a way that your systems are settled, your mind is clear, you're able to focus. And we're not always going to stay in that state. So I'm offering you a regular place to come back. It's like meditation, to come back. The demons come in with the mind, all this stuff. Your body gets overwhelmed over systems, and you come back into this sacred container. Your sacred space, a protected energetic field of energy so that you can continue to move into the new energy that you know that you are here to do. What are we here to do? Right? All of you light workers, all of you healers, all of you coaches, you have a mission, right? And yes, we don't have to do the mission. We have choice. It's free will. But we know that there is going to be this nagging, unfulfilled place in us if we don't continue to move towards it in divine timing. Okay? So it's not about rushing towards where we want to go. It's about moving in the current that we know the soul is guiding us anyway. We can choose other currents, but we know that when we choose other currents, it's painful. Okay? And I'm not saying when you go on the current of where your soul's path is, it's not going to be painful. I'm not promising that. I'm promising that when you go there, there is going to be all of this gathering of energy, all of this gathering of tools to continue to project you into your future potential. So DM me, let me know, Jamie, I'm ready for a breakthrough yoga coaching call. And on that call, we're going to start the deep work right away because I know you're ready. If you are an empathic entrepreneur, then there is a readiness. And right now, in this time, right now, in this world, is that percolating of that new frequency that we are all transmitting, right, and all receiving, right? So we are kind of like affecting the collective as a whole as we do our practices. So understand, like, just as you do your practices, this practice alone and your transmission just walking on this earth shifts, right? I could have, in that moment yesterday when I was with that service agent, brought energy that didn't really help the collective. But because there was a practice and a conscious choice, we shifted that. So let me know in the comments your biggest takeaways. DM me, let me know, Jamie, I'm ready for a breakthrough yoga coaching call. And if you want to come to the 3-day live, it's going to be live 1 hour a day. First day is about visioning where you've been, because that's important, because where you've been shows you where you are today, where you want to go. Day 2 is what's keeping you stuck, right? And day 3, what's the plan? What's the plan, right? And we're going to do that through meditation, through breathing, through energy work, through the body, through all of the tools that you utilize. It's not just going to be spreadsheets and thinking and hustling and pushing. Like, that doesn't work for empaths. So come with me and allow yourself the new energy for 2024. It's here, guys, and I know you feel it. And so let's allow our systems, let's allow our mind, our heart, our body, our energy field to come into harmony, right? So that we can continue to collaborate with our old core wounds, which is what we look at in our program, in our Breakthrough Yoga Coaching program, and how we can continue to move from the higher self, right? And there's many other ways of seeing that, but it's like one way is like, what is my highest potential here on earth? Because when we do that, even if we're working with something chronic, the cultivation of all of our practice, what it does, it bears fruit of joy. And we're able to sustain the simultaneous pain that life is here on earth and the simultaneous beauty. They both exist. And we can deeply go into the pain, which life is, and we can deeply go into the beauty. And so we're not kind of unneutral, sort of like not really there or not really here. We're deeply immersed in life itself, and it becomes this internal, this just natural joy. We're not trying to be happy. We're not trying anything. It's just that the practices themselves bear that fruit. And I know you know this, right? But we understand, like, just because I do this today, I'm going to have to do it tomorrow. and in the next minute and the next hour before I go to sleep. Like this is a constant here on earth. Is a constant moving into and coming into harmony, because there's that contrast between dark and light here. So we're standing 2 feet in both realities from this balanced place. And we have that point of perception that gives us the whole picture, right? So every time we make a choice and we take an action, it feels in harmony and resonance with what our soul is beckoning. So if this is interesting to you and you want to take this journey and you want to utilize these tools to manifest the life and the business that you want, DM me and let me know. Jamie, I'm ready for a breakthrough yoga coaching call, and we'll get to work. All right. Love you all. Thank you so much for your presence. Thank you so much for your practice. I want to hear from you. So let me know, and all your questions and all your comments, I'm going to come back and I answer, and you can DM me directly to ask me any questions, and I'm happy to be of service. Until next week, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll see you here at this group. Love you all. Bye.